let's talk about something that gets thrown around all the time in crypto circles. Bitcoin to $1 million. You've probably seen the headlines, maybe even scrolled past it on Twitter or YouTube. It's bold, it's exciting, and let's be honest, it's kind of irresistible. The idea that a single Bitcoin could one day be worth 7 figures is one of the most powerful narratives in the space. But is it real or is it just hype? What would it actually take for Bitcoin to reach that kind of a price? And does chasing a number like that help you or hurt you as an investor? I've been in crypto long enough to see these predictions come and go. Some ended up being laughable in hindsight. Others actually turned out to be a conversation. So I want to explore what $1 million Bitcoin would really mean. What would need to happen to get there? And why the price isn't even the most important part of this conversation. Because in my opinion, what matters more is the fundamentals. Why Bitcoin exists in the first place, and why I'm personally still stacking even after all of these years. First, let's break down the math. At today's price, Bitcoin's market cap sits in the trillions. To hit $1 million per coin, we'd be looking at a market cap in the tens of trillions. That would put Bitcoin ahead of gold, ahead of most asset classes, and firmly into the territory of being the dominant store of value in the world. But here's where people get tripped up. Market cap doesn't work the same way in Bitcoin as it does in traditional stocks. Price can run far ahead of what seems logical because liquidity is thin and supply is capped. There are only 21 million Bitcoin that will ever exist, and of those, about 19 million have already been mined. Millions are also lost forever. That means the actual supply available to trade is much smaller than most people think. Scarcity alone can drive prices higher than what the market cap math might suggest. That scarcity is why I always tell people, set a goal to at least own 1 million satoshis. If you don't know, satoshis are like the cents to the dollar. They're the tiny units that make up one Bitcoin. One Bitcoin equals to 100 million satoshis. So if you own a million sats, that's 0.01 BTC. And it may not sound like much, but as Bitcoin adoption grows and supply gets tighter, even a fraction of a Bitcoin could be life-changing wealth. Thinking long-term is the key here. The people who win in Bitcoin aren't the ones trying to flip it for a quick 2x. They're the ones who hold and understand what they own. And here's something I don't think enough people stop to appreciate. Nobody controls Bitcoin. No government, no private company, not a single person. And that's huge because when things get messy in the real world, war, natural disaster, political collapse, your wealth is usually the first thing at risk. Think about gold. If you had to flee your home tomorrow with your family, could you really take gold bars with you? Traveling through airports with heavy bags of gold or stacks of cash would raise every red flag possible. Even trying to move it in your car or on foot, it can be dangerous. Someone can confiscate it, rob you, or simply stop you at a checkpoint. Bitcoin doesn't have that problem. With Bitcoin, all you need is your wallet's 12-word seed phrase, and that's it. You could literally carry millions of dollars in your head, cross a border with nothing but the clothes on your back, and still access your wealth when you reach safety. Nobody can take it from you. Nobody can freeze it. Nobody even knows you have it unless you tell them. Compare that to any other form of money. Cash can be seized. Bank accounts can be frozen. Gold can be confiscated. Bitcoin is untouchable because it lives on the blockchain, not in some vault or an account. That kind of sovereignty is priceless. And it's another reason why I believe Bitcoin will keep gaining ground as the world wakes up to how fragile the old system really is. Now, let's bring this back to the $1 million question. Literally, could Bitcoin reach $1 million per coin? Yes, it's possible, but not because someone shouted it out on CNBC or made a viral tweet. For that to happen, several things need to line up. First, institutional adoption would have to keep accelerating. Pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, global banks putting serious capital into Bitcoin. We're already seeing hints of this with Bitcoin ETFs. Remember when those were first approved? Billions started flowing in almost instantly. The same way ETFs helped push gold higher years ago, Bitcoin ETFs are now opening the floodgates for traditional investors who were once locked out. If XRP ETFs are looming, Bitcoin has already proven what that kind of demand looks like. Second, fiat currency has to keep weakening. And let's be real, it already is. The US government is printing trillions out of thin air. Every year, the dollar buys you less. People are feeling it at the grocery store, at the gas pump, and in rent prices. This erosion of purchasing power is exactly why Bitcoin was created in the first place. Bitcoin is deflationary, meaning its supply is fixed and can't be inflated by governments. As fiat continues to weaken, Bitcoin only gets stronger in comparison. Third, patience. $1 million Bitcoin won't happen overnight. It's a multi-decade story. And this is where people mess up. They chase hype. They buy at the top, they sell at the bottom, and they miss the bigger picture. If you zoom out, Bitcoin has gone through multiple cycles of brutal crashes and explosive recoveries, and every time, those who held on were rewarded. That's why when people ask me if it's too late to buy, I tell them no, it's not. If you believe in the fundamentals, it's never too late, especially if you're thinking in terms of the next 5, 10 to 20 years. For me, Bitcoin isn't just about making money. I used to chase percentages, trying to find the next fart coin, which is a real coin by the way, or whatever coin that could 5x faster. But Bitcoin is different. It's the only asset on earth that is truly sovereign, truly scarce, and truly global. You can borrow against it later without ever selling. You can pass it on to your kids. You can take it anywhere in the world with nothing but 12 words in your memory. That's not just an investment, that's freedom. So here's my take. $1 million per Bitcoin is possible. But even if it never happens, Bitcoin already does what no other money can do. It protects you from inflation. It gives you control no government can take. And it gives you the option to hold wealth in a way that's portable, secure, and sovereign. That's why I keep stacking. Not because I need $1 million headline, but because I understand what I'm holding. And if you do too, you'll stop stressing about the daily price swings and start focusing on the bigger picture. And I'll see you in the next one.